After having a detailed discussion on how the assertive sentence in active voice changes into passive voice, let us now discuss how the interrogative sentences in active voice changes into passive voice. We find two kinds of interrogative sentence. One, the interrogative sentence beginning with the auxiliary verb, and the second kind of interrogative sentence begins with the double-edged question words. Let us know how the interrogative sentence begins with the auxiliary verb changes into passive voice. Does Pramita pluck flowers? Here, does is the helping verb which is in V1 form. Pramita is the subject. Pluck is the main verb here, and flowers is the object of the sentence. When you are changing a sentence beginning with the auxiliary verbs in active voice into passive voice, one thing we must remember that the sentence in the passive voice will also begins with the helping verb. So here the helping verb does changed into are here, and then the object of the active voice sentence will take the place of subject. So here flowers becomes the subject here, and the main verb will become the third form in passive voice. Therefore, the third form or the past participle form of the word pluck is plucked here. The subject Pramita will take the place of object in passive voice, being introduced by the by agent. If the doer is a person, we use by agent before the object in passive voice. And one thing, if you observe the sentence, the helping verb does change it into are. Then why this change? As you know very well that flowers is the subject of this passive voice sentence is in plural form. So the plural form will take the plural verb. So here we use are. Flowers are. Similarly, did your friend invite you? This sentence begins with the past tense form of the auxiliary verb. Your friend is the subject, invite is the main verb which is in V1 form, and you is the object. As per rule, the auxiliary verb will take the same position as in case of active voice. So here did become were here. As the object in this sentence is you here, it will take the place of subject. So the subject become you in passive voice. And here we changed the word did into were. Why? Because this subject in the passive voice sentence is you. We use were in past tense. So the past form of the word are is were. Therefore we must use were here, as the helping verb in the active voice is in V2 form. So the change were you. Then the main verb changes into V3 form. So the V3 form of the word invite is invited. The subject of the active voice sentence is your friend. It will become the object in passive voice, being introduced by the agent by here. Can anybody help them? This sentence begins with a modal auxiliary verb which is in present tense. Anybody is the subject here. It is a vague subject, and help is the main verb. Them is the object of the sentence. As per rule, the auxiliary verb in the active voice and the passive voice will remain at the same position. So here the word can remains can at the very beginning of the passive voice sentence. Then the object in the active voice is them here. It will change into the subject case they here. So can they. Then we must use be after the modal auxiliary verb in passive voice sentence. So we have to use be here before the main verb helped. So the help become V3 form, that is help. So the sentence will be, can they be helped? Have you returned my book? This sentence begins with an auxiliary verb have, and the subject of the sentence is you. Returned is in the V3 form. My book is the object of the sentence. The sentence in the passive voice will be, has my book been returned by you? So this sentence also begins with the helping verb. Do or does in active voice sentence will become each or am or are according to the subject in the passive voice sentence. Similarly, did will become was or were according to the subject in the passive voice sentence. Can, may, shall we take the shape of can be, shall be, will be, and could, must, should will take the shape of could be, must be, and should be. If the subject of the voice is vague or an unknown, then it is not required in the passive voice. How many languages do you know? What book did they like? Which place do you like? All these sentences begins with the double-edged question word. Let us know how the interrogative sentence beginning with the double-edged question word in active voice changes into passive voice. How many languages do you know? This sentence begins with the double-edged question word how many, and the word languages is the object in this sentence. It is not the subject. Do is the helping verb and you is the subject here. And know is the main verb. So here do is in V1 form, know is also in V1 form. This indicates that this sentence is in simple present. Let us see how the change occurs in passive voice sentence. And we must not be confused about the subject and object of the double-edged question word sentence. In this case, the word language is the object here. Why? If you convert this sentence in an assertive sentence, it will be 30 languages. So here, in the assertive sentence, you become the subject. Know become the main verb, but the language become the object. When you are changing an interrogative sentence beginning with the double-edged question word from active voice to passive voice, we must confirm the subject, verb and object of the active voice sentence. So here the word language is the object of the sentence and you is the subject of the sentence. We know very well that the double-edged question word in case of active voice sentence and passive voice sentence remains at the same position, that means at the beginning of the sentence. Therefore, here how many remains how many here. So as per rule, the object in the active voice will take the place of subject in the passive voice. So how many is the question word and language will be subject here. Sorry, it should be languages. If it is languages, we must use are here. Since I used language here, I used is here. Then the verb change. The helping verb do will change into is. If the helping verb is do or does, it will changes into is or am or are in passive voice sentence. As the word language is singular, it should be singular verb. So is here. But it should be languages here as per this sentence. So if it is languages, we must use are here. And the subject you will take the place of object in the sentence. So this sentence will be how many languages are known by you. Similarly, what book did they like? This sentence begins with a double-edged question word. Here book is the object. Did is in V2 form in past tense. They is the subject, where like is in V1 form. And the sentence in the passive voice will change it. What book was liked by them? As per rule, the double-edged question word remain at the same position So here what? Here is also used what? As you know, as you have already discussed, the word book is the object here. It will take the subject in passive voice. So we used the book here as subject here. As the book is a third person singular number and this sentence is in simple past, then we must use was here. The main verb will change into V3. So the V3 form of the word like is liked here. And after that, we will change the subject in the active voice. It will change into them. We know very well that the word they in the subject case, and here we change it into in the objective case. The objective case of the word they is them being introduced by the agent by here. Similarly, which place do you like will be changed into which place is liked by you. The word who, which is in subject case, will become by whom, and the word whom, which is the object case, will become the who in passive voice. Let us see how the interrogative sentence beginning with who or whom changes into the passive voice. Who had given you permission? We put this question, the answer will become Raju had given me permission. Govind has given me permission. So from this it is clear that who is the subject in the sentence. And had given is in the past participle form. And you is the object in the sentence. So when you are changing who, it will change into by whom. And also it will remain at the beginning position in the passive voice sentence. So here by whom is the object here. Then as per rule, the object become the subject. So here the object you will take the subject here. And had plus V3 will change it into had plus been plus V3. So here had given is changed into had been given. We keep the extensive or the remaining part or the complement of the sentence at the end here. The structure of the sentence is by whom plus subject plus had been V3 plus whom did you call. If you observe the sentence keenly, you find the word whom is the object of the sentence and did is in V2 form, you is the subject of the sentence, whereas call is the main verb. Then how can you know that whom is the object? If you observe this sentence keenly, you find this sentence begins with the word whom, which is the objective case. Because the word whom is in objective case, it is clear that the word whom is nothing but the object. So the word whom, which is in object case, will be subject in passive voice. As per rule, the double-edged question should be at the very beginning of the sentence. Therefore, the word whom changed into who here. After the changing of the object, we change the verb part. As this is in past tense or V2 form, it will be changed into was or were plus V3. Because the subject is here plural here, we use were. And the V3 form of the word call is called. So the verb changes were called. But one thing we remember, when we think that the answer to the question who, or when we think the word who is plural, we have to use were here. But if you think the answer to the question is singular, then we have to use was here. Suppose the question is, who were called by you? Govind and Gopal are called by me. But if you say who was called by you, Govind was called by me. So when you think that the word who is singular, we have to use were here. But if we imagine that the subject who is plural, then we have to write were. and the subject in the active voice is you, it will take the position of object in passive voice. So by you. Let us now discuss how the active voice sentence containing two objects changes into passive voice. My friend sent me a birthday gift. Here the noun phrase my friend is the subject of the sentence and also the doer of the action, and sent is in V2 form. Me is the indirect object and a birthday gift is the direct object here. When a sentence comprises two objects, the first object which is related to person will be the indirect object and the next object will be the direct object. So here we have to change any one of the object when you are changing the sentence from active voice to passive voice. Let us change the direct object in this sentence. So the object will take the place of subject in the passive voice sentence. So we bring a birthday gift to the subject position in the passive voice. Then the verb changes. As the verb is in V2 form, this V2 form will changes into was or were plus V3. So the word sent will change into was sent, since a birthday gift is in singular form. So when the subject is singular, then it will take the singular verb. So was sent. And after that, the remaining part of the sentence is the object, indirect object. We cannot use the indirect object as it is. We have to use to before the indirect object. So the change will be a birthday gift was sent to me. At last, we have to change the subject of the active voice sentence into passive voice here. So here my friend will be changed into by my friend. Let us know if you change the indirect object first and bring to the position of subject in passive voice, how the change occurs. Here the word me is in objective case. So if you bring to the position of subject, then the me will become the subjective case. So here me changed into I, which is the subject of this passive voice sentence. The verb is in V2, therefore it will be was sent. As the subject is I, we should use was. So I was sent. Then the direct object. So we can place the direct object as it is after the main verb in passive voice sentence. So the change will be I was sent a birthday gift. Then the subject of the active voice sentence will take the place of object. So here my friend became by my friend. So one thing you must remember, that when we are changing the direct object first, we have to write to place the indirect object in passive voice sentence. But when we are changing the indirect object first, we do not use any to. You have to directly write that noun or the noun phrase. Let us go through the second example to have more ideas. We have lent him some money. In this sentence, we is the subject. Have lent means have plus V3 indicate that this sentence is in present perfect. Here him is the indirect object and some money is the direct object. As per rule, if you want to change the direct object first, then some money will take the position of the subject here, and then the verb changes. The verb is have plus V3, it will be changed into either have been V3 or has been V3. Since the noun phrase some money is the singular form here, we have to use has. So the change occurs in the verb part is has been lent. We have to use to before the indirect object in passive voice sentence. So instead of him, we write to him here. and the subject of the active voice sentence changes at last. So we will be changes into by us. Here us is the objective case of the word we. Or this sentence can be changed when you are changing the indirect object first. So if you are changing the indirect object first, then the him will be take the position of the subject he here. As he the third person singular number, we have to use has been learnt. And the direct object will be placed soon after the verb. Then the subject changes